Oh, hello, and welcome to Three Comics Walk into a non-socially distanced pub, starring myself and three co-presenters, Paul Ricketts and Juliet Myers. We'll start off with a little bit of a tribute in these COVID times to, this is not a happy-go-lucky story, but it goes like this. Well, everybody went surfing, Podmaster UK. They were crammed in like sardines for over 5 days. And then they went searching, situation's grave. Cause everybody's gone surfing, catching that third wave. Well, welcome to the show. And I should actually bring in my co-presenters, Paul Ricketts and Juliet Myers. Hello and welcome to you.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Well, we may as well start as we normally do with COVID news. COVID news. Now, that's of course, that song was about the Boardmaster Festival, which has seen a surge of over 5,000 new cases of COVID-19 since they did the Boardmaster Surf Festival in Cornwall, I think it was, and they've asked people to stop coming. Basically, they're a bit fed up of it.
Yeah, well, it makes a change from Chlamydia, doesn't it? I mean, it's one of the things that will come out of your weekend away.
Well, I should imagine that'll be Reading and Leeds Festival, won't it?
Oh, right, okay.
Judging from the centre of London, when I was actually at Marylebone Station, which isn't anywhere near there, but it was full of people from Reading and Leeds, and they were completely off their faces. Oh,
good.
That's what young people should be doing.
Yes, they should. Instead of being on exercise bikes and jogging,
snogging.
Yeah, what they should be is off their face. That's what they should be doing, ruining their bodies and paying the price later in life. That's what they should do. Yeah. I'm all for it. Thumbs up to the young people being disgraceful.
I would say don't try this at home, but it doesn't really work, does it?
Well, at our age, that's the only choice we've got.
Yeah, well, it's lockdown as well. So what do you think, Juliet? Are you sort of on the side of the tourist authorities or whatever?
I mean, I think this is a tricky one. I mean, because I always feel with Cornwall, I've got friends who live in Cornwall who for years have said, we wish people wouldn't come down here. So they never want people down there, really, because, you know, they can't drive down their road. But I do feel sorry for them because, you know, that has increased COVID. And it's also shown that gargling with salt water won't work because I'm like... so,
yes, exactly.
It's tricky because they say don't come, but then Cornwall and Cumbria are quite touristy places, and now Cornwall hasn't got its European whatever it is grants, whatever it was they thought they'd get when they voted for Brexit.
Yeah.
So, but I do feel bad for them that, you know, there's not many hospitals there, so, you know, it's quite precarious for them, I guess.
That's right,
I don't feel sorry for them at all because they live somewhere nice. If they want to have no one visit, move to Lincolnshire just to continue week by month by month attack on the county of Lincolnshire. Yeah, no one's ever gone to Lincolnshire for a holiday. No. You know, I think we might even take in Skegness, but who wants to go to Skegness? Lincoln, okay, Lincoln. I like Lincoln.
No, that could be a good question to ask the people who are watching. If you are watching, please, you know, get in touch with us and write down stuff. What is your least favourite area of the UK? What place do you think that people should be banned from going to, or would you like to ban them from going to? Paul obviously said Lincolnshire.
I mean, I don't mind it, but I wouldn't go there unless I was being paid. Which luckily has always been the case.
Has always been the case. Oh, here's another COVID-related story, which is not good. That in Brazil they found a new variant, something they call C12, which is a monster, and they not sure yet, but it could well evade all vaccines.
Oh, I was hoping this would take years, not a matter of days. Yeah. Oh God.
No.
Well, at least that keeps all the Brazilian virus jokes going. So that's a good thing.
That's a bit of a dampener on things, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah, it's the only hairless virus. Hairless in the right places.
COVID is I feel like, you know, COVID is like this master villain who, you know, I shouldn't be impressed by it because that's really bad news. But you go, oh my God, like, how quickly do these things do? How quickly do they multiply? It's just
well, obviously quite quickly.
Yeah.
C12, isn't it?
Because the Delta is supposed to be very transmissible, isn't it? What happens with, like, if can you get it on a Zoom call now?
Yeah.
Of course, in theory, it's probably been in quite a few Zoom calls already. I mean, it's just. I mean, I was going to say that I was reading that last week. British scientists said that, as far as they're concerned, this could be a forever war against COVID, which makes sense because anything that you call a war that actually isn't a war tends to last forever anyway. Such as war on want, war on drugs, war on terrorism. They all last forever. Even Call of Duty has lasted since 2003. That's 18 years of the Second World War being played in some boy's bedroom. I mean, it makes sense. I still think, despite the bad news, because if this is a war, at one point in the future, we will look back on it with, through rose-tinted glasses. It will be some sort of wonderful thing. We'll be able to tell our grandchildren, COVID, it was fantastic. It was the greatest time of my life. People left their doors open because everybody was inside.
That's right. And it's safer outside. England football chants will change, won't it? Two world wars and one never-ending war against COVID, one World Cup. It could be the only war in which one side, doesn't realise it's fighting, though. Because most people seem to have gone, I want it to be over, therefore it's over. When I was talking to someone last night, I won't say who they were because, he said older people have got to start coming out. This is getting ridiculous. What does that mean? I'm fed up with it now. If people aren't coming out to the pubs enough, come on, get over it. It's like,
but it is that, like, because I feel like I was the only person wearing a mask on my tube train on Saturday, and everyone else was looking at me as if I was, like holding up some sign saying the end is nigh or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. I was saying to this with Steve, I think we talked about this a couple of times, that wearing a mask will eventually become really annoying to people because you just be reminding them that this thing is out there still. And that people are going to get more aggressive at seeing people in a mask. And why are you doing that? They're going to lose their tempers eventually.
I find if you dress up as the Grim Reaper, that pisses people off a lot.
It does.
Just really go with a scythe on the tube. Like, what are you looking at?
They said that in Scotland they think that they might have to reintroduce masks. But at least if you're a Scottish bloke, you get to not wear underpants, I guess. So,
I can say that is sort of true. I did know a bloke I worked with in Glasgow that drank so much that he had to have a spare pair of underpants on him at all times in case he farted and followed through. And I was with him in the pub during a pool game when exactly that happened. And he had to disappear in between shots and come back with a new pair of underpants on. And the old pair in a plastic bag, which he stuck on the table next to his pipe, which we couldn't believe.
God.
You're not going to take them home. You never wash that pair. You're not going to wash.
There's something about potting the brown there.
Oh, yes. We were all thinking it, but...
but I had to lower the tone and say... but yeah, because Scotland's got... It's really increasing its number of cases, isn't it?
It's nearly 6,000 a day, isn't it? So,
wow. So,
Well, at the moment, until C12, comes over here, we're okay for now.
But then, you see, some people are saying that, because the virus is only supposed to last 6 months, isn't it? Not the virus, the
Vaccine.
I like the vaccine. So it's supposed to last 6 months.
The vaccine's supposed to last 6 months, and then
it wanes after 6 months. It's
wanes,
like love.
yeah.
You know, it's sort of after marriage or something. It's just it starts off with full protection and ends up with sort of low level sort of companionship.
Yeah,
that's
grousing about which colour bins to take out. Yeah,
you just sit. You and the vaccine, your jabs will just sit there in silence for hours on end, but happy that you're doing that.
I'm intrigued because we have had this conversation about masks before. Are people who were watching this wearing masks, or is it?
Yes, it'd be good to know a percentage, a little straw poll.
Yes,
if you are wearing masks, let us know. And
don't send us a picture.
No, well, you could do if you want.
You could do, yeah.
What also have you been inventive? What else are you wearing? Because I've seen people wearing loads of different things, loads of different masks.
Have you?
Yeah. I saw a very fetching. I saw a very fetching sort of like it was a tartan one. It was beautiful, actually. I just mean the different types of masks that people are wearing. I mean, I don't mean this. That gets on my. This is my favourite one. I love that. It's great, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, under the nose.
Yeah, I don't want to wear a mask, and I forgot it. But I hate them people.
No, it's the hanging from the ear for me. That's the one that you just, I think, like.
What's the hand in the ear? So
hanging. It hangs off one ear.
Oh God, yeah, I know. That's kind of that is a bit like the DJ, isn't it?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's there. It's sort of nonchalant, isn't it, to have it hanging off the ear? A bit like the difference between the American army and the Nazis, because they used to have their strap hanging down from that. You never used to wear their uniform properly, whereas the Nazis were all perfectly turned out. So that makes us Nazis. I don't know how this happened. I'm taking it all back.
American war movies, they always look cool, didn't they? Because they had that one strap hanging down. They might have been murdering loads of Vietnamese children, but the little straps hanging.
Yes, whereas the British had all their stuff made out of wool, no matter where they were in the world, and all fitted for someone who never joined the army. They always look so crap in war movies. They just,
Yeah. It's true. Talking about that's a good segue into. We have to. One of the stories this week, of course, is it's Afghanistan and the rise of ISIS-K, which is not a type of breakfast cereal, by the way. Special K. But this is quite a heavy subject. But there are, what have been your thoughts this week about the Afghanistan thing? Hello.
Oh, okay. I'll go first.
I've made a face.
Well,
I'll let Paul speak, and then I'll speak because all I had to say was.
Oh shit!
Well, that's just like it is in Afghanistan. The man has to.
It's a fair enough response, isn't it? Let's face it. But we shouldn't laugh. We shouldn't laugh. I was watching. It's just watching the whole thing at the airport is just so similar to like going back to the end of the Americans pulling out of Vietnam, and the stuff at the embassy. It's just really similar because it's just unplanned. We're getting out of here, and when looks like now, as soon as possible, and it's not been organised or anything like that. And it just makes me think. I fully expect in 20 years' time that there will be Kabul the musical, written by Ed Sheeran, on in the West End, based on the story of Pen Farthing, with a cast of dancing cats and dogs.
Yeah.
Big numbers about Kabul, hell of a town.
I'm going to do a quick one because I did write this, especially for Pen Farthing, because he gets on me now. He rescued all humans. He rescued fuck all humans, but lots of cats and dogs. And the British public went on because he did a good job. We'd rather give to the RSPCA than a women's refuge any day, cause an Afghan's life is worth less than a dog. There we go. That's for Pen Farthing.
Yeah, and that's sadly true. I mean, God, I'm a big advocate of dogs. And annoying the sound quality by chewing on a milk carton behind me as I speak.
Oh, I wonder what that was.
Yeah, take it off him.
Yes. Well, what's going on underneath the camera there?
Yes. It seems.
Ripping of cardboard.
Yes, it gets very
that's
tense
funny.
during vlogs.
It's terrifying for women. It's terrifying for women. I mean, and what the Taliban, because this is the new Taliban, so they're the social media Taliban, so they're able to be like, look at us with our guns. We're smiley, friendly. Of course, women should. They're like some of the male feminists who are fake in the UK, who are on the comedy circuit. That they're like, oh yeah, I really believe in rights for women, and the Taliban are no different.
They call them they're the moderate Taliban. So people will all adulterers. Yeah, all adulterers will now be pebble dashed to death. But I love the sort of weaselly way that they're saying that girls will still be allowed to go to school.
Yeah.
But I just think, what's the point of sending female pupils to a militant Islamic fundamentalist school? I mean, they're not going to get any support. You can imagine the rest of their classmates are going to be like, Sir, Fatima's thinking.
Yes. I'm just going to take the milk bottle away from him. Haven't they already segregated it all anyway? It's just all. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what'll happen once everyone's left. How does this get reported?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I know.
Well, it won't be female journalists. That's for definite.
God almighty,
she's already leaving the country. Award-winning female journalist.
What's happened to the dog? She's gone to stop the dog.
She's going to take the milk bottle. Yeah, dog stops comedy, which often happens.
Was it an old milk carton? Was it or something? Was it?
Yeah, keep it.
Keep it.
Keep it.
It's a keeper.
It was in the recycling. It's not like I'm going to go, oh, I can't drink from that now.
What gets me about the Afghanistan situation, apart from the fact that it's a 20-year war, and it's been a total failure, its objectives have failed, is that people are sort of saying they've forgotten that life was pretty bad for women under people like the Northern Alliance as well. They're being lauded as our great allies and saviors or whatever. And when they took over from the Taliban, well, they treated women appallingly. And that guy, remember I can't remember his name, but the guy put all his enemies, the captured soldiers, into a massive container in the desert and just let them all boil to death. They're they're still around as well, the Northern Alliance, but being lauded as sort of people that we should perhaps form alliances with. I don't know.
That's the terrifying thing, isn't it? Like the bar is now so low that it's still. I mean, it's so depressing. I feel almost like. I mean, when you say you were thinking of writing a musical, all I could think was, can't EasyJet set up a different airport a little bit further away from Kabul? And just say,
call it Kandahar Kabul Airport.
Yes, exactly. And even though people are fleeing without any of their possessions, EasyJet's still going, yeah, you're still over the limits. Still going to have to charge you extra for
speedy fleeing. They're going to have. Please, I mean, it's a tragic story. I know that we're all laughing at it, but also what gets me with the ISIS-K thing, and they are one madder than the Taliban, aren't they? These are the people that think the Taliban are too soft. I mean, they're full of disaffected members of the Taliban who think that their new media savvy persona has gone too far.
Well, it's also the Taliban hated ISIS because they were full of people from Europe. There's an element of they didn't like the European jihadists coming over, and Taliban didn't want to have anything to do with them. That's part of the reason there is an element of racism going on.
Do you mind? The more I hear about this Taliban, the less I like them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't like ISIS either. I mean, ISIS.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows what ISIS L's going to be like? I mean, that's going to be one level even worse. I mean, are they going to be moving through the alphabet like storms hitting the country?
Yeah.
And COVID, yes.
And COVID. ISIS Delta. Well, that's a terrible one.
Exactly.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Lordy.
the ISIS variant.
But it's difficult. Isn't it? I mean, the reason why I found this, I mean, obviously it's tragic, but it's like,
Sorry.
But like,
Go on.
I mean, it is. But like, just that whole thing of, how many refugees do we take? I feel like my family history, they've been refugees from all over the world at various times. But, I read the Daily Mail and they were like, no, we can't have them because it's bad enough we've got like a Starbucks. And you're like, oh my God, like, I hope we take loads, quite frankly. But
well, what have they got against Starbucks then? Oh, because they're American or they're not British culture.
Just Daily Mail readers saying, don't do it. I'm not even going to tell you what I read on the Daily Mail comments because it is a bit like, what are you doing reading that?
Why would you read the Daily Mail comments?
Out of a sort of weird, don't do it. I was curious, and then once I read a few, I thought, but surely, bearing in mind they're fleeing for their lives, someone will say,
Well, they already have. It's already the big issue in America and in the UK is don't let them come here. But it's just awful what we've done to them for over 20 years. We've basically gone in there to sort everything out. It's like someone turning up at a party where there's some awful people. We throw them out, put some better music on for a little bit. And then as we leave, they come back in the door. And that's all we've done. We've done absolutely nothing to... I mean, funny enough, the whole thing about what seems to be Afghani men need to get in contact with their feminine side in a big way. We should send someone over there. That's what we should have done over the 20 years, is have some sensitive person. I can't try to think of what the equivalent would be.
Joey Essex.
Joey Essex. Joey Essex over there. What you guys need to do is accept you're suffering mental pain and emotional trauma. And then you'll be much better.
Rather than just wielding. Did you see? I mean, God, it was ridiculous though. Did you see the guy reading the news or hosting a debate? And he was reading a thing saying the Taliban say you have nothing to fear. But there were two guys with guns stood behind him.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was like, whether they were camera shy or just like the people on the news here that get behind the reporter and go,
yeah. hello, Mum. Sorry, you're not allowed out the house.
Anyone
massive?
Yeah, I mean, anyone with a gun saying, "Don't worry,
it's
okay,
going to be all right."
Yeah, it's just sort of. I mean, it's okay if there's lots of other people with guns about. I suppose you're quite happy to see someone with a gun, but no, it's. I don't know. Let's see what Taliban 2.0 turns into.
Very good. Yeah,
it's all that rebranding that they're doing. They're going to be super happy Taliban.
What do people who are watching?
Happy clappy Taliban.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. What do you think would make you like the Taliban? What
have they got to do?
Yeah.
What should they ban or what should they unban?
I think if they go on the Great British Sewing Bee and they make their own outfits.
That's very funny. Incidentally, by the way, that is one. If you're a television presenter now under the new Taliban regime, the last thing you want to see from the floor manager is this, isn't it? And cut. What? Well, let's move on to another subject, which is it's been a very hot topic today because they took over Tower Bridge, didn't they? Extinction Rebellion, and people watching. What do you think? Good thing, bad thing? Are you in favour? Do they float your boat? which is ironic because rising sea levels and we'd all be in boats soon. But yeah, if you could let us know. What do you guys think? Are you in favour of Extinction Rebellion, or what do you think?
Well, I've got to be honest. When I first heard of them, I thought the person who was telling me about them said Extinction Rebellion, and I thought they were people who were against conservatories, loft conversions, and granny flats on top of your garage. So I thought, yeah, I'll support that.
It turns out, by the way, they're so middle class that they've got all those things, haven't they?
I'm sure they have. I've been down when they were outside St. Paul's. And I went and at that particular point, I was living just the other side of the river. So I walked over the bridge and went and visited them and took photos of the Raki healing tent and all the other weird things that there were. It was like some sort of weird, new age village is just set up on the steps of St. Paul's. It's quite interesting. There was a lot of young people there that you could tell it was their first demonstration. And stroke festival. It was because some of them just were waiting for the band to turn up. It was that sort of feeling to it. It wasn't like what we want chanting and all that sort of stuff. It was like let's light these lovely scented candles up and feel better about ourselves. I mean, obviously, I do agree with what they're doing, and some let's face it, young people are going to have to do this. Even though I saw an article earlier today that's saying that people over 50, a big majority of them want the environment to be sorted out and climate change to be sorted out, no matter what the cost, which is encouraging. I think in terms of, because a lot of this is always brought down to personal choice and stop eating meat and do all this stuff. And I think more of it should be done by governments. This is a government thing. It's not me deciding to pay 20p extra to have or whatever to buy something that's supposed to be better for the environment. This is actually stop cars, stop planes. This is government things. You can't. It has to be done on a global scale because it's the world. It's like COVID. It's the same thing. It's global scale. People just don't like that stuff anymore. Can't I just do it by spending 50p more, making it a consumer choice? No, it isn't. It's not going to change enough through that.
They do make it hard. They do make it hard sometimes. I mean, I'm very much in favour of them, but sometimes they do make it hard. One of the spokespeople was called Zion Lights. I thought, for fuck's sake, I want to support you, but stop it. He was a white guy with dreads, and his name was Zion Lights.
But I have no problem with that. I mean, see 80s crusties return to the world. I mean,
oh God, no! They were bad enough the first time.
Dog on a piece of string. I've got no problem with that.
Oh, sorry. We didn't mean to imply that your dog should be on a string. So, Julia.
Oh, no, that's all right. I was thinking, I mean, I just think I'm kind of with Paul that, at least they're doing something. They're trying to raise awareness, but I feel like they can't win because, yes, they're either called Zion Lights or other people are like, they're too lefty for me. And you think, well, it's a world issue. I don't see whether it's a right-wing thing or a left-wing thing. Or, I mean, to be fair, it's all stunts, isn't it? But they're just trying to get it into the news, which I think is a good thing. And as Paul says, it's got to be governments that do it. And I'm intrigued about the people that superglued themselves to the Science Museum because I'm trying to mend a drawer and I can't get a metal.
That would take your skin off, wouldn't it? Did they superglue them? Yeah. Oh my God!
Yeah, but they keep supergluing themselves to stuff, which I'm sure isn't eco anyway. But there you go.
Yeah.
No.
But I guess just they haven't got the solutions, but it is that
they're posing the questions. I understand that. I mean, one more thing I would say is that I just I like the stunts. I like the covering the fountains in blood. Please stop the fucking drumming. Stop the bongos and the stop it. That is very early 90s. That is late 80s,
Yeah,
early
the
90s.
jugglers aren't there. That's the one thing that didn't last from the 80s and the 90s. Is there's no jugglers.
No, that's
I
true,
find
actually.
quite distressing.
Or fire eaters, or
Yeah.
Lost out of well, because the
Someone
fire
on
eaters
stilts.
because the fire eaters use petrol, don't they? For the that'd
They
be
do.
a real fossil fuel own goal, really, wouldn't it?
Can you imagine using diesel? Oh,
Yeah.
I've got the wrong bit. Oh.
Like the
Fuck my
people who
mouth up.
particularly get on my nerves are the people who, and they're not necessarily Extinction Rebellion people. When I hear people say we've got to save the planet, good, of course we do. And then occasionally you'll get someone go, I want to save the planet for my grandson. And I'm like, oh, right, the whole planet can burn, but you now care because your jizz has a face.
Yeah.
Really? For my grandson, I want that. Oh, okay, you didn't care before, but now you've got a grandson, fine.
Yeah,
long as
one of
he's
my
not
least
bullseye,
favourite
mate.
expressions is for your children and your children's children.
Exactly. It's great. Actually, that makes me want to go out and.
I was just thinking, well, just say your kids. You don't have to say your children, your children's children, and your children's children.
I know, well, exactly like Alpha. And it's such an assumption that they're all going to have kids, But there you go. Maybe they are.
Maybe they're not, so I don't know. Okay, well, let's go to another couple of stories before we wrap up.
Wait a minute. We asked the public, what did they think about extinction?
Yeah, I did,
Yes.
You did? Oh, well, I've forgotten.
Let us know if you like Extension Rebellion. We've both, you and me, Juliet, have called them Extension Rebellion.
Yes, I told you.
Put it into his head.
So easy. It's an easy mistake to make.
Very narrow view, I think. Everything each of us does helps. And yes, stop eating meat intact, turn vegan, use less plastic, and we can all do that. I do. Stop taking so many holidays. That means flying. Yeah. Be accountable for your own actions. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, look, Pearl,
you agree with that?
I think it's just going to take more than that. That's all I'm saying. People have been doing this for the last 20 or 15 years and been very worthy about themselves by doing such things, but they've not helped the big picture here. It's got to be a global government thing. That's all I'm saying. God bless you, Pearl, for doing what you're doing.
But Sharon Marriott has just said that 100 companies are responsible for most of the pollution in the world. Not hard to deal with, surely. Which is
yes. I mean, the thing is, it takes government legislation to do it.
Yes, but the thing is, those
companies, so they don't just move to another part of the world and keep on doing things the same way.
But those companies are controlled by the lizards.
Well, of course.
That's why. Yeah. Who are affected by global warming.
Because they all fart, and lizards, fart and create
companies that
methane.
have to like, I actually know someone that lives in Cornwall, lives in this incredible eco house, like amazing. Wow. It's just beautiful, and the heating, and he's very aggressive about saving the planet. But this house is huge, and I actually said he's a friend of a friend, and I actually said, how come he can afford the house? And it's because he used to work for Shell.
Oh, now there is irony on a stick, isn't it?
And it's like, he's really sorry now, but that's sort of how the world seems to operate, isn't it? It's that thing of, you can't do that. You've got to restrict the companies. And so I agree with
me.
Renee.
And Pearl.
Does that mean that you can't go off grid unless you used to supply the national grid? It's an eco house. That's funny. I just thought, wouldn't it be great if there was this is a very niche joke, but if there was an environmentally conscious reggae superstar called Eco Mouse. I don't know what Eco Mouse
we got it. So Eco Mouse's fans could be all over the place here.
They could be all over the place.
If you're a fan of Eco Mouse, please
please shout up. And if anybody is playing some Lee Scratch Perry, which I will be doing later on in honor of the great man.
The great nutter of Lee, he's just mental. But,
let's talk about him briefly. Wow, he was fantastic, wasn't he? Firing guns into the ceiling of the studio. Yeah. He thought he was being controlled by aliens, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He had an obsession with space, which was and space travel. at the same time as we had Funkadelic in Parliament getting into also with space, there's a real niche thing of black nerds, musicians that are into sci-fi. Sci-fi and the black community is quite close, even though we never appear in any of the novels.
And one of the fathers of the genre was a massive racist, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah, Mr. Lovecraft. So, yeah, it was, but there you go.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay, that's a good segue into black music because Kanye West this week wants to legally change his name from Kanye West to Ye, which is, yeah, is it Ye? I don't know. Is it Ye?
But
no, is it just Ye?
As in Kanye.
Oh, okay.
So no, just Ye.
But why?
But Ye is better to argument. So excuse me, Mr. Ye. I'll put your sandwiches down there.
He's not the unionist.
Kanye.
Kanye.
But that is the thing, isn't it? He's changed his name to that, and it's not always obvious how to say it. But also, I tried to change banks a week ago, and filling in the form of required surname is a required field as title and loads of things. So how's he going to do that?
Yeah, and that would just be a terrible problem, isn't
it? Yeah, he's just going to bring in his. You got a letter from the bank. You got a letter from your electricity provider and your council tax, Mr. Ye. It's Ye! It's Ye!
Exactly. It's not even going to work.
Keep your hair on. Have you got your passport? Just bring that in and your driving license.
Come on, ye faithful. And you mentioned he's locked out of his account because he's done 3 attempts at his old password using his old. He famously, of course, went a bit doolally during the election, didn't he? And supported Trump with his MAGA hat.
Well, before the election, during
I am
the election.
Superman.
Yeah, he is nuts. I've got to admit, he is so nuts. I have stopped listening to his music because his ego is immense, and he has got, by his own admission, I think he has problems. But
he's not. I mean, he styles himself as the greatest rapper ever known, but he's not.
Yeah,
he's not.
No, he's not.
No,
he's also one of the worst singers. Anytime he tries to sing, is a disaster.
Because he did that whole album called Jesus, wasn't it? And that used the is it auto tune? I don't know what the word is. Yeah,
auto tune is the word.
Oh, sorry. Is it 2 words though?
Let's say it's hyphenated and everybody's happy.
Yes, exactly. So we're all agreed that Kanye should not have changed his name.
Well,
I don't care.
I find him egotistical. It's weird because he said 2 things that I read about. Because apparently people have called him Ye in his inner circle for years. I didn't know that. I mean, I'm sure
stick with that then.
Quite a few names they might call him. But also he said it was the most common word in the Bible, which to me does make it sound like it is and it is ye or something.
So he's looked at James the First Bible and only saw himself in it. The modesty of the man. The greatest story ever told. Have you noticed my name's in it?
Yeah. I might change my name to Kanye West.
Yeah, but my name's Paul and I'm in the Bible and I've never really thought about how that makes me tremendously wonderful.
But your real name is Saul, isn't it?
Of course it is. Yeah. In an old Jewish. Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
on the road to Damascus.
Do it. Just take the last few letters. So Steve can V or Vey.
V. Yeah. Lots of people have called me Vey over the years. Yeah.
Vey. Right. Vey. So Vey. Ul Ricketts.
What could you'll be S if you were Jules or Juliet et?
Yeah, that's it. I'd be S or I'd be E.T. Myers, which. But apparently, I was going to say, even though it seems mad, I read a thing saying though that actually it's quite a good marketing thing because apparently the youth like 1-syllable things, and so it'll help with marketing.
Wow!
And I even read a thing saying, surely this can't be right, saying that his sneakers company or his the clothing branch of whatever his company is doing a thing in conjunction with the Gap. Really? I wouldn't have thought that was
Ye Gap.
Yeah.
That is in the Bible.
Yeah.
Beware ye Gap.
Mind ye Gap.
Between heaven and hell.
Yeah.
Mind ye Gap. In the middle is purgatory. That's Catholic theology. Let's do one more story because Paul wants to talk about this. That a new report said that London golf courses, if they were used properly, could provide homes for over 300,000 people. So I'm all in favour.
I'm sort of conflicted because, I don't think turning green spaces into homes in urban places, I think that they should remain green spaces, but not golf clubs. It's in a way, because it's golf, everyone's going, yeah, because golf is a snooty game. Even if they public or private courses, they're normally dominated they're male dominated, and it's the sport that takes the biggest amount of land to actually play. It's in terms of how much territory. I think it was in the article in the Guardian. They said that the amount of golf courses in London is the same size as the borough of Brent.
Brent,
Brent seems to be the Wales of London boroughs, or elephant. It's the elephant of London. It's or London bus. It's just one of those comparison things. It's always Brent, and of course, if Brent was all golf course, wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, I've been to Neasden. Yeah, I prefer it to be a golf course.
To be fair,
they would still go through it.
But to be fair, by the way, we're talking about, they're not actually talking about building flats and stuff on them. They are actually talking about being homes adjacent to them and then turn the golf courses into things like allotments and green areas or whatever. There just won't be golf courses anymore because, as they've said, there's 94 public golf courses in the Greater London area. 94.
Well, it's not public; it's public and private. It's the mixture of both. I mean,
a lot of them are owned by the church.
Yes.
Yeah, and there is a silly amount of them, but it's just the sheer snobbery of golf courses is. In Scotland, in Edinburgh, I've been walking and suddenly realised I was in a golf course when a ball just flew past my head. Because they just appear. They're not. There isn't a gate to tell you that you're in them. They just have golf courses lying around that you could just stroll across at your own risk. And I wish golf courses were more like that, so people would use the actual space. But it's that whole private, even the public ones, membership. It's the membership stuff. I mean, I do like the idea that if they do build houses on there, you've got such a great, in terms of names for a new estate, Wayward Drive. That's either you go down Wayward Drive and end up, not in houses but near some bushes somewhere.
And then you have an estate called the Rough. Yes. But I was thinking, that people often, in crime dramas, they always find a body, just on a golf stone. Oh, look, there's a dead body. But they're not really. I was just thinking, it's Mr. Trick Day. They set like a crime series set on a golf course. But then I thought, but the chase at the end would be shit, wouldn't it?
On the buggies,
On the buggies, I'll kill you. You wait until this does 3 miles an hour. So a milk float comes past them.
I just like the idea of there being a queue waiting to continue the chase because someone's being slow on the hole.
I think you could surely make it so that it's. I mean, I think they should build stuff that's for more of the public to use because that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I like swimming, but the thing I think they should do is build the houses. And then crazy golf is so much more fun.
Yes, it is. And I'm a huge fan because you're right. Just because it's such a big game, make it smaller. They've done it with crazy golf or miniature golf, as they like to call it.
Yes.
And the table version is pool. Let's face it, pool and snooker. That's basically the same game, but on a table. Make it a much smaller game. That's pretty much it. I agree.
And the best thing about Crazy Golf is there's no real element of skill to it at all.
Yes, there is.
Entirely. Oh, is there?
Yes,
Ooh.
there is. I am very, very good, and it's not by accident.
Oh, okay. Well, is that going to be the new Olympic sport? Is it?
I hope so, because then I'll represent Britain, and I'd love to. And as he lines up his putt against the windmill and waiting for the things to go round.
Oh no, Ricketts has made a mistake. He's misjudged the. Oh no.
But the other point I was going to make about this is that, okay, I'm not against golf courses being turned into mixed use in terms of you keep some of the recreational use and let people into it, and then you have a few houses. But my thing is, why don't they do this within the urban environment instead of taking all these golf courses which are around the edge of London? Because it seems to me that any property can be changed into accommodation, pubs, hospitals, police stations, warehouses. The only thing that never gets changed into accommodation is offices. And there's loads of empty offices in the center of London. There's going to be more of them. And why don't we change them into places where people live? But we never seem to. Everything else, you name it, can be changed into where a property, but not an office. And I think we should concentrate more on that.
It's interesting you should say that, because I think that there is now a movement to do that post-pandemic, because so many of them lying open. But one of the big problems, I was reading an article with an architect said that that in an office they have to do lots of restructuring because lots of people. Oh, hang on a minute! I can't believe what you're saying. Smaller golf courses build houses. It's a joke to you. It's not funny. It's the life on the planet.
Oh,
fair enough, Pearl.
Okay. I tried to get the point. I failed to get the point, which I apologize for that, Pearl. Obviously, I've misunderstood. I don't quite get what you're saying, even though I understand what you're saying is that. I don't know. Are you saying? I'm trying to work it out. Is you saying that golf courses are a bad thing or a good thing because at least they have something for nature and it's open spaces? Which in that case. Yeah. Okay.
It's interesting though. They do use a hell of a lot of water.
Yeah, but
that is true.
If that's the point, that's what I took from it. That Pearl is saying keep it as a green space rather than building houses.
Yeah, but I think that I did actually say that's what they're trying to do.
I sort of agree a little bit with Pearl then, because I still think that the urban environment, there's plenty of dead space that could be turned into places where people could live, but also like golf courses to be more inclusive and more people use them.
Well, I think they should make golf courses more dangerous. What's if your ball goes in the sand? Have a pool with some piranhas or a crocodile in it. I think that'd be better, wouldn't it?
When I used to play pitch and putt in Walthamstow, it was dangerous because people used to leave all the bunkers with big ashtrays full of spliff ends. It was just wow. So obviously, sometimes you take ages to finish a hole. It really would take a long time. And the longest one was only 100 yards.
Well, I think that let's end on that note. That's a very nice note to end on. And we'll all push for crazy golf or miniature golf, as you quite rightly say, to be in the next Olympics, wherever. Where's the next Olympics being held? Is it Montreal? Montreal? No? Oh, dear. I've ended on a very quizzical note there, haven't I? Juliet, do you know? Is it Montreal?
I have no idea.
Oh, God, I could find out.
Quick, everybody, tell us when it's going to be. I'm sure it's Montreal.
Well, how do you know?
Dan knows, but he's on mute.
I just made it up.
I think it's
next
Paris.
Olympics.
Is it not Paris?
Oh, yes. God, yes.
It's in Paris.
I'm so sorry. I should know that because
so apologise to our Parisian viewers.
Very, very.
I'm really angry now.
Je suis désolé. Tous les Parisiens.
Yes. Yeah.